Pretend today is the end. Today on Fortitude through Stoicism. And this is my 365-day journey of implementing the ancient philosophy of Stoicism into the life of this modern masculine man. It's a new month, and this month is all about meditation on morality. But I'm going to pump the brakes right there. I have, in the last 2 days, learned more about Stoicism than I have in the last year, truth be told. So I started to do the Jordan Peterson Academy, and one of my 2025 goals is I'm going to do a course per month. And so the first month, in alignment with finishing Stoicism, is I wanted to do the ancient philosophy course with Dr. James Orr. And the fifth, there's 6 lectures in this lesson, and the 5th one was about Stoicism. So I want to give you a visual, because I really didn't grasp this whole year the significance of what I had in my hands. Allow me to explain. Marcus Aurelius was the Roman emperor from 161 AD to 180 AD. That was the very, very, very pinnacle of the Roman emperor. After him, it started to decline. So it's safe to say that at that time, with that number of people, he was the most powerful man in the world. And because it was the peak of the Roman Empire, and it was the largest empire of all time, it is safe to say that he was arguably one of the most powerful men to have ever lived. We have meditations, 12-book series, I believe it is. And again, forgive me for paraphrasing, but it's about 12 different series in this book, Meditations. And he wrote it. He was from Rome, but he wrote it in a dialect of Greek. He wrote it in a completely different language. And if you read Meditations, you would never know that he was the most powerful man in the world. And it's his own words to himself. So I want you to imagine he is not only the leader of Rome, but he is also on conquest, dealing with the Germanic tribes. And so he's out there dealing with multiple different legions and armies and conflicts and problems back home. But yet still every day he spends that time in reflection, in meditations. And some of the stuff could you imagine the world around him? He's in the middle of a damn, probably fucking projectiles going over his head or some shit, and he's out there like literally just trying to understand the virtue and values of life and to implement these Stoic lessons. And so what I learned from this is Diogenes of Babylon. So let me back up, right? So why is Marcus Aurelius, why did he adopt Stoicism? And this is really important because this is the why behind the what. When Rome came to power, they basically had this amazing amount of sum that they said that Greek owed them. It was like 500 talents, which is an obscene amount of money. So Greek sent an envoy to Rome to plead their case, and they sent representatives from the 3 schools of the Academy, the Lyceum, and then the Stoics. So Plato's school, Aristotle's school, and then the 3rd major school, which is Stoicism. And at that time, it was Diogenes of Babylon who was the head of that school. So when they went and pleaded the case to the Romans, and I forget the year, AD, maybe just after 70 AD, maybe. Please don't plagiarize me. I can't remember the detail. Or please don't, I'm paraphrasing. Why that's important is because the Romans were so impressed by the nature of the Stoics, how their calm demeanor and their acceptance of things, and how they weren't rattled. And so they were particularly interested in Stoicism. So the aristocracy, if you will, the ruling class of Rome adopted Stoicism. And so again, it never really trickled down to the masses like Christianity did. Christianity was really about the victims, by the victims, for the victims. So it kind of trickled down to the people. But Stoicism was always, more of aristocratic type of a philosophy. And it's funny because Dr. James Orr makes a reference. He's like, yeah, it's really easy to detach when you have a house full of slaves and you can do all this other, you have all these systems and people to take care of your shit. He says, yeah, it's really easy to go wander through the fucking gardens, But again, so really now I'm getting an understanding of the roots of philosophy, Stoicism, where it came from, how it impacted Roman culture, because a lot of the people we're talking about here, because we have their writings, meditations, we have Seneca's moral letters, and we have the teachings of Epictetus, because he was a slave turned educator, and his students, wrote some of his stuff down. So we have preserved history from these notable characters, but really, again, it's the Roman version that we're really talking about much of this last year and throughout this journey. So I wanted to tell you how precious the thing that we had with Marcus Aurelius's meditations. He's the most powerful man to almost have ever lived, and those writings were for himself to be a better human. Think about the value in that. I really wish I understood the true nature of that when I started this. Maybe I would have leaned in a little harder instead of kind of looked at it with a hairy eyeball, some suspect. I'm not sure. But again, the power in that. So now we're in a new month. It's all about morality. We're going to die. You're going to die. Pretend today is the end. So we're going on with a quote. I wanted to get a bunch of that backstory out. Also, a quick plug for the Peterson Academy. I know the price raised. I think it's $600 for the year. It is the value they deliver is significant. I would pay, it's the best education you will get. PetersonAcademy.com, check it out. I get no affiliate links, none of that bullshit. Just, again, if you're a lifetime learner and you're passionate about learning, especially from some of the greatest minds, do it. Okay, the quote today by Seneca. Pretend today is the end. Let us prepare our minds if we've come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. I'm a big fan of excellence. Kobe Bryant, and with his coach, Tim Grover, in the book, Winning, I think was the second book, he's making a reference to a conversation he had with Kobe, and Kobe never envisioned a loss. He just ran out of time, right? He had unsettled business. He had unfinished books. He was always chasing, right? The next big win. He was in a lot of different things post-basketball. A lot of people don't know about Broadway and all kinds of stuff. But what we're saying here in Stoicism is, and this is a Stoic, cliche, live each day as if it's your last. Many say it. Few actually do it. But how reasonable would that be anyway, right? You'd spend your last dollar and wouldn't give a shit. So I'm not sure I'm going to subscribe to that, but what I will do is give you a real analogy. And Ryan Holiday uses it in the book here, but I've actually lived it. So Ryan Holiday here says, from, again, the Daily Stoic, Ryan Holiday, says a better analogy would be a soldier about to leave on deployment, not knowing whether they'll return or not. What do? They get their affairs in order. They handle their business. They tell their children and their family they love them. They don't have time for quarreling or petty matters. Wish that were true. So the reality is true. So I've done this on a couple of occasions, right? You know you're leaving, you don't know if you're coming back. True story. So what do? You had my wills in place. I have my wills in place now. I had my life insurance without a war exclusion, no war exclusion. I have my life insurance in place now. I learned because of that experience that, yeah, there are people in this world who for their career, for their source of income, they go do a thing, and it's a very dangerous thing. And people who do that thing don't always come home. And this looks like a lot of different things. It could be law enforcement. You pull over the wrong person. This could be military, obviously. Military is the easy one. But I will tell you, here's what you don't know. A lot of people deploy, and they go on these big fobs, right? And they never leave the fob. Now, again, I'm not knocking the military. Okay, I'm not mocking the fobbits. I mean, the people who stay on the fob. What I'm saying is there are people that, even though they deploy, listen, when I flew out of Afghanistan, I went through Kandahar. I'm like, fucking fast food? Like, really? No one has a weapon? Individual experiences vary, right? So again, if you're combat arms, if you're in infantry, if you are the tip of the spear, if you are the guy that goes out there and looks the other guy in the eyes, you know that there's a chance that you don't come home. And true story, when we got in Afghanistan, 2011, we were in this little tiny fob around 3 Taliban-controlled villages. Really no government. The government was corrupt, that was there. They gave the fuel shipments to the Haqqani and to the Taliban. It was great. But when you get there, they welcome you to the neighborhood. So you get mortars and, indirect fire, and you get, a good complex attack just to get the butthole pucker and let you know, welcome to the neighborhood. You get desensitized because the first time that happens, man, whew, you're getting covered. You got your helmet on, you got your shit, like, holy fuck, right? But then it keeps happening, and then you're like, because when you're flying out of country, the interesting thing is that when you take contact or the base gets hit, whatever, it's like t-shirt, flip-flops, or you're like, you just take off your earmuffs, like, how close is that one? Fuck it, I'm not even getting out of my rack, which ours with 2x4s built off the ground, so the damn camel spiders couldn't climb on us. But the reason why I tell you that is I have accepted my death a long time ago. Now, my body's littered with scars and injuries and wounds and all kinds of stuff. I have accepted my death a long, long time ago. So for me, every day really is a gift. I mean, because there was a time that I didn't think I was going to live. Matter of fact, I was pretty convinced I was going to die. Matter of fact, I was putting in a good effort at it. I didn't want to live. And that's the truth. I did not want to live. I wanted a hero's exit. Didn't get it. So then I'd find my own way. And I tried. I really did. I'm glad I did not succeed. Perhaps that wasn't my fate, Stoicism. Perhaps it's the random nature of things, and atoms flying around poking into things, Epicureanism. I'm not so sure why, right? But what I do know is when you've accepted death, and I'm okay walking out that door and it happening right now. I get on a plane, now it's like 6 times a week, but it should be 5 times a week. So consider this. Last year I flew 250 times. I mean, statistically you're going to land, but again, things happen, right? If you crash, it's not good odds, right? High risk behavior. I've accepted that. So I got my shit in order. I mean, I got my shit in order because for me, I've accepted death, and now every single day is overtime, man. It's a gift. It's like a bonus. It's like, thank you. Thank you for this new day. And yes, that is the first line of my meditation. I am grateful for this day because I truly am, because it's not guaranteed. Not everyone lives to, magic age. 78 is the average for men or whatever it is. It's not guaranteed. I've lost a lot of people in my life. Best friend, young. It is never guaranteed. So, to use Ryan Holiday's analogy, I tell my people I love them. I got my stuff. And here's the thing. You don't have time for quarreling or petty matters. That's the lesson here, right? Let's dial in on that. Bingo! It's the time and energy that we spend on the petty shit. Never be at the mercy of things which matter the least for things that matter the most. I butchered the damn thing. How does that go? There's a quote there. Things which matter the most should never be at the mercy of things which matter the least. Love matters. Purpose matters most of all because love is dangerous. Miyamoto Musashi, my 21 Principles of Dokido. I'm going to read that one because it's important. It's very important. Now, Principles of Dokido, self-discipline, warrior mindset. Do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of love or lust. Love and lust can obscure judgment and weaken the spirit. Let your path be guided by reason, not fleeting emotions. The heart must never overshadow the clarity of the mind. Maintain a disciplined mind to discern true affection from fleeting desire. Love, when cultivated wisely, can become a source of strength. It's important. So why do I say that? If we prepare a plan to live forever, or to live in eternity somehow, in perpetuity, through legacy, but we have to live each day and accept the fact that this is our last day. So how would you live each day? And again, I want to challenge somebody, because I know people watch these. I want to challenge people to actually put a comment below. What would you do differently today if today was your last day? I mean, obviously the big things, right? Oh shit, I don't have anything in order for my end of life. Okay, let's assume you got that all out of the way. How would you live each day differently? You probably wouldn't work, but that's necessary, right? Or is it? These are all questions. How will you live your life if you know your time is so limited? Would you spend it building a big business? And again, it's different for the individual. Why? Because for me, I need to build something so that there's some type of legacy, so that it can take care of the people once I am no longer here, right? I need to do enough work here so that I have enough in position to take care of the people that I care about long after I'm gone, especially the trees and the animals. Conservation is important to me. I love my animals. I love my trees. Don't cut the damn trees. Don't kill the animals. So it's a new month. It's a new mindset. I'm talking about morality. No one loves to talk about death and taxes. It's in my business. So what I want you to do today is remember, today's your last day. That's it. That's it. Tomorrow doesn't happen. What are we going to do different? And on that, shower time.